Welcome back to MSNBC Super Tuesday, where all day we're focusing on polls, politics, and the people factoring into the 2008 race for the White House. Kevin Madden is National Press Secretary for the Mitt Romney campaign. He joins us this morning. Kevin, nice to see you.
Amy, thanks for having me.
So I'm sure you noticed that Governor Romney was the only GOP candidate who was mentioned by name during last night's Democratic debate. Your thoughts on that?
Indeed, I guess a lot of these Democratic candidates sense our shadow, so to speak, on all the important issues that are right now before the American public. I guess it shows that they're worried about you when they're talking about you during a Democrat presidential candidate debate.
A new poll from pollster.com finds Governor Romney has a commanding lead in Iowa as well as New Hampshire, 25% in Iowa, nearly 30% in New Hampshire. But when you take a look at the national polls, Governor Romney trailed Giuliani by 15 points in both the pollster.com and Newsweek polls. How do you explain that fairly striking disparity in numbers?
Well, I would say, first off, it's a good thing that we don't have a national primary. What we have is state-by-state primaries. One of the things that we focused on very importantly in these early stages of our campaign is two things. We focused on introducing Governor Romney and his ideas to the American electorate, and we've also built up these organizations in these early primary states, states like Iowa, states like New Hampshire, and we're also building organizations in places like South Carolina, Michigan, and Florida. Now, as the calendar progresses, as these voters in these early states learn more about Governor Romney, what you're seeing is a greater degree of support for Governor Romney. That's why we're in a very good position in places like Iowa and New Hampshire.
Let's talk about Newt Gingrich. He likened the Republican contenders to pygmies and called them trained seals. He even said he might enter the race. What's your reaction to all of that?
Well, I think many voters would disagree with that, especially those Republican voters right now that are looking at this slate of candidates. I would challenge anybody who has that sort of view to come out on the campaign trail with Governor Romney. Governor Romney goes to places like Iowa. We're going to be in New Hampshire doing 5 or 6 stops all across New Hampshire tomorrow. And Governor Romney's out there talking about the important issues. He's talking about everything from health care to the economy to national security. This is going to be an idea-based campaign. And I think that sort of reflection on the campaign is probably not from somebody who's actually been out there meeting, having direct voter-voter contact with people.
Could he be reacting, though, to these recent polls and AP polls specifically showing that 23% don't prefer any of the major GOP candidates?
Well, I think he could be reacting to a whole bunch of factors, but you have to remember, Amy, that this is very early in the race. When we started this race on January 4th, when Governor Romney announced his exploratory committee, we were at 4% in some of these national polls. We were in single digits in many of these early states. So, many of these voters are still learning about these candidates. Many voters are learning about Mitt Romney and his ideas, his platform of issues that he hopes to run on. So I think as we become more engaged and more people meet Governor Romney, that's where you see his poll numbers go up. That's why we're doing so well in places like Iowa and New Hampshire, because those voters that are really directly engaged on these issues, Governor Romney's platform of ideas is really resonating with these voters.
All right, Kevin Madden, we appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me, Amy.